Hello everyone, Alan Sims here, and welcome to this video on arms control challenges, North Korea. In this video, we'll be looking at the North Korean challenge to the non-proliferation regime and to the broader nuclear security and arms control and international security concerns that surround North Korea. This is part one of two videos. In this video, we're going to be looking at the evolution and development of the North Korean nuclear arsenal, and in the next video, we'll be looking at the international politics of the contemporary situation surrounding North Korea. So let's get started. So the learning objective for this video is that by the time we are done, you should be familiar with the development and diplomatic history of the North Korean nuclear program. Quick overview, North Korea, here we are right here, has developed and tested nuclear weapons and is developing longer-range ballistic missile systems as well. North Korea is under an extensive international sanctions regime. As a result, successive attempts to encourage North Korea to dismantle its nuclear weapons program have failed. And of course, as all of you know, the uncertainty surrounding North Korea's leadership and the high level of tension between North Korea, neighboring countries, and the United States makes for a very volatile situation. So what do we know? We know that North Korea began developing a nuclear bomb program in the 1980s, opening secret facilities for uranium enrichment and plutonium separation at the Yongbyon reactor. North Korea ratified the Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1985, but it didn't conclude a safeguards agreement until 1992. So no safeguards or inspections were in place to monitor the North Korean nuclear program development in that period, between 1985 and 1992. And so in that period, what we know now is that North Korea was doing research and conducting experiments towards the development of a nuclear weapon at this facility primarily. This is the Yongbyon reactor. This is a satellite shot showing the main reactor building as well as an experimental light water reactor. And we know it was in operation because you can see the little steam vents coming up from right over here. So this is the facility that's kind of at the center of the entire North Korean nuclear program. We know that an International Atomic Energy Agency inspection team visited North Korea in 1993 after the conclusion of the Safeguards Agreement. They found evidence that more plutonium had been developed than had been declared. And so there was a period of negotiations about that, because this is evidence, right, that North Korea has been conducting experiments, or at least working toward diverting plutonium out of the nuclear fuel cycle. And of course, that's a alarm bell, right? The diversion of fissile material out of a nuclear fuel cycle. So after those negotiations, a 1994 framework agreement resulted in North Korea admitting the existence of a bomb program and agreeing to dismantle it in return for the supply of 2 light water reactors that could be used for energy and further research on peaceful applications of nuclear power. We know that in 2002, this agreement, the framework agreement, collapsed. And it collapsed because there was evidence that North Korea was still trying to acquire nuclear weapons technology. And the 2 primary cases that were cited as that evidence was admission by Pakistan that North Korea had gained access to its nuclear technology in that time period, and evidence that a uranium hexafluoride shipment to Libya was actually evidence of an undeclared uranium enrichment capability, that the North Korea had shipped this uranium hexafluoride to Libya. And so those 2 incidents led to the collapse of the framework agreement because North Korea was quite evidently cheating. Over time, what happened, of course, was that North Korea actually began to develop a fairly robust and sophisticated nuclear facilities program and infrastructure. So they have reactors, light water, they have a gas graphite reactor, that's the Yongbyon site. They have research development centers in a variety of places around, around North Korea. They have reprocessing facilities here and at Yongbyon as well, and they have uranium enrichment capabilities as well. So they have everything they need to develop and produce nuclear weapons. They are, if you like, vertically integrated with respect to the requirements of a nuclear weapons program. We know that in 2003, North Korea withdrew from the Non-Proliferation Treaty. And so, since 2003, a negotiating forum known as the Six-Party Talks, that's the Republic of Korea, the United States, the People's Republic of China, Russia, Japan, and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, were all the partners in the Six-Party Talks, and they attempted to reach a new agreement on North Korea's nuclear program. But the Six-Party Talks failed. So here are the participants in the Six-Party Talks. This, if you can believe it, is an actual schematic of the negotiating room. So here's the entrance. And then these are the seating locations of the various representatives of the countries. And of course, this hexagonal arrangement here was done in such a way as to promote the symbolism of equality between all partners at the Six-Party Talks. We know subsequently in 2006 North Korea conducted its first test. In 2009 North Korea conducted its second test, and then it withdrew from the Six-Party Talks. In 2012, another agreement was reached. This time North Korea agreed to suspend uranium enrichment and nuclear weapons and missile tests in return for food aid. So it was another opportunity, another hope. But this agreement collapsed in that same year when North Korea tested a long-range missile. And of course, as you know, since then, North Korea has continued to test nuclear weapons and has continued to test long-range missiles. We will pick that up in the next video. So by now, you should be familiar with the development and the diplomatic history of the North Korean nuclear program. Okay, so it's a bit of a sad history because here we have a clear case of a country that was in the NPT, hadn't signed the Safeguards Agreement up to 1992, but it's an NPT signatory, and it was clearly trying to acquire a nuclear weapon through clandestine, secret means. It was cheating, basically. And so North Korea is a great concern, not only because of the threat it represents in terms of security in Northeast Asia and in the wider Pacific as well, but it's also a concern because it demonstrates possible weakness of the non-proliferation regime, that a country could be a signatory and even fully involved in the safeguards regime, but yet still clandestinely acquire nuclear weapons. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you again soon.